Namaste. Welcome back to the show Leadership Through Communication. We are on our 10th episode of this show and we have two amazing guests. Our first guest is Toastmaster Brijendra Rochan Joshi. He is the Club Growth Director at Division A. He is also the CEO of Rooster Logic and co-founder of Nepal Entrepreneurs Hub. Our second guest today is Toastmaster Neha Amatia, who is the Secretary of Division A and is the Business Development Executive at Cora Tours. Welcome to the show, Toastmaster Brijen and Toastmaster Neha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Moon.
So both of you are in Division Council, and Division is, I believe, is somewhere above members, club, area, and then Division. How is it like being in the Division Council of Toastmasters in Nepal?
So definitely being in the division is a big responsibility because as a Toastmasters, we always believe in an individual, the growth of the individual. The structure has been formed in such a way that it caters to the need of that individual. So being on the division brings that perspective to make sure that all the individuals are catered for. And in the club growth, as a club growth director, one of the things that we look at is to bring that experience to all the new members that comes in to a Toastmaster by adding new clubs. And when we add the new clubs, we make sure that the structure of the division helps each and every individual members.
So that's about the club growth and being in the division council. How about you, Toastmaster Neha? You're the secretary who holds, I believe, a lot of responsibility. So how is it?
Yes, as a secretary, I have a lot of responsibility, but then I'm also one person who is looked upon to at the time of need, especially at crisis time, because I have all the information. I have all the information regarding the members, the clubs, the area directors. I am the central point of contact, if I have to say it, single point of contact for every member, area director, club members to get information about our division as a whole, wherein currently we have 30 clubs and we're still growing. So I have information of members, of the executive committee, of all the people involved in various councils. So I keep a track of all of that and whatever changes that have been made. So yes, responsibility is big because division is a bigger place for all of us, and being under the division director is a very big responsibility for me.
So both of you are holding really great responsibilities. I'm sure you didn't come to this kind of position or the role where you're holding you within the area, within the division, within the area, more concentrated within and holding all the information, as you said, of all the clubs and members within, and you on the outside going outwards, trying to grow the number of members who are there by growing the number of clubs that are registered, right? So I'm sure this didn't come about just overnight. How is your journey like in Toastmasters?
So I started out as a member in 2014. When I started out in 2014, it was more to become, it was a baby steps for me. I had my mentor cajoling me to come to that club and accidentally brought me there. I joined as a member over there. And within a few months, because at that point of time Himalaya Toastmasters was reviving and it's been almost a year at that point of time. So I became a VP membership and joined an XCOM. So it was leadership position whenever you go to an XCOM, and after that I took different leads like VP membership, after that VP education and the president of the club, and also served as an IPP for almost 2 years. After that, as the area and the movement of Toastmaster grew bigger, I took on different responsibility and club growth. Again, I took on the club growth director because it brings the challenge to bring in the new members and casual the new members to join the Toastmaster and the leadership journey, because this is something that we lack in Nepal. And for me, when I joined the Toastmaster, I was almost 33 years old, though I wanted to join in 2004 when I was 24. So it's always fruitful and challenging whenever you are taking this kind of role. So for me, it has been fruitful because I get to talk with a lot of new people and then bring them to journey which will help them to develop their personality as well as the leadership.
That's quite a jump right at the beginning. When you joined in the ExCom. I remember I was the president and you became the vice president membership at that time. I too heard about Toastmasters for the first time in 2004, and we must have been pretty young then.
Yeah.
Amongst us, we have somebody who is pretty young. Maybe you can share about how it was like joining in young and coming to this position so early in your life.
Yeah, I think I'm still one of the youngest members who stands in the leadership, on the top level leadership, if I have to say. But my journey hasn't been quite easy because I joined a club back in 2017, so I'm fairly new, where it was all full of professionals, and I used to be that girl who was just taking the steps of getting professional, working and all of that. So when I stood there watching everybody speak, I was like, wow, will I ever be able to do that? But then once I got into the mode of Toastmasters, it just didn't take time. I jumped from starting new clubs. So I think in my history itself, I've started over 6 to 7 clubs and helped every new club. I help every member who has asked me. I've taken multiple roles in club, like club secretary. I'm currently the VPPR of my home club. And even in division and area, this is my second year in the division council. So I've been constantly taking leadership roles and growing myself so that I can meet people, I can interact better, and other than that, at least strengthen myself as a leader, because as a girl, it's very difficult for me to step up to very experienced people. And that is one thing that I've learned here. Standing among very educated, intellectual people, experienced people, and me being, yes, I'm tall, but then my experience is less, and I have to speak to them, I have to convince them. So that is something I learned. And my journey is not very easy, but I love it.
Yeah, I guess in leadership, if you really have to go to the top, it's not really going to be easy. Both of you mentioned right at the end of what you were saying, some life skills that you have learned that has been useful in your life. So how about you, as the CEO of Rooster Logic and co-founder of Nepal Entrepreneurs Hub, how has this really helped or affected your work life, Toastmasters itself, and the leadership journey that you have taken?
So when I joined Toastmasters, you have all the thought process that comes to you, right? So how do you communicate those thought processes to the people? And when you take that communication journey to the Toastmasters, you get to process those things that is running into your head in a sequential order that the people actually understand. So whenever you're leading at a Toastmaster or in a real life, one of the things that comes to you is how do you communicate your thought process so that you can actually lead? And when you put those things in order, it allows you to convince people, and when you convince people, they will take that leadership, and when they lead, the organization actually goes forward. So Toastmaster helped me to do that, and along with that, also to make sure that they are nurtured, and it's not only about communicating but also mentoring those people to take that leadership position, and it has helped me to do that.
So I guess this Entrepreneurs Hub and nurturing leaders somehow is the kind of life skill that you need. Is
Yeah,
somehow
it complements each other exactly well. And one of the things that has happened is to show the path to the people that I work with, and when I bring them to Toastmasters, it has helped them a lot.
So not only is that you make new clubs, bring in new clubs and community as well as corporate clubs, but you also make sure that new members join in from your fraternity also.
Definitely, definitely.
How about you? I'm sure you said that in your tenure itself, you have helped start around 6 clubs already. When early in your leadership role, you started a new club, the Tourism Toastmasters,
Yes.
I believe. So how has it been like? What is it like adding new members? What do you tell them? Why should they join? Why should a person who is watching this show today, why should he or she join Toastmasters? What does she or he have to do to join Toastmasters?
Why join Toastmasters? I say it's fun. It's a fun way of learning because we all learn through our peers. and there is no one particular teacher who comes and teaches us. So that ways we get to learn, we get to see a lot of variations in how one person speaks, how the other person speaks, how evaluations are done, how reports are done, how do we present ourselves. So all those kinds of nitty-gritties which we need in our professional lives, when we speak to people, when we interact with people, those small things are learned in Toastmasters. And I don't think anywhere else people go into such details about one particular person. So if that doesn't motivate people to join Toastmasters, then I don't know what will actually. Because communication is a very important part for all of us in every part of the world. So yes, Toastmasters is essential in a minor way or not for in each and every person's life.
So can I assume that that's how it has helped you in your professional life also, because you're a business development executive
Yes.
at Cora Tours, and that would mean that you have to deal with a lot of people.
Yeah, I do, and especially how Toastmasters has helped me is I am more into correspondence and phone calls and talking to people. So I've learned how to speak to people, how to convince them, how to persuade them, and how to mold things as per the situation. It keeps on changing. So those are nitty-gritties which I've learned and which helps me in my work as well. And then when I go out to meet my clients, or let's say my vendors or my suppliers or any agent that I meet, that's how I get to interact and how I'm more comfortable to speak to them. Otherwise, it's very difficult to come out of my comfort zone and to speak with others. So that is something which I've developed.
In the course of our discussion, we swayed from the part about how the members or people who want to join and become members, how they can join. What's the process that they have to follow?
So the first thing which any person who's interested to join Toastmasters can just visit a club, any club. There's no restriction in clubs apart from the corporate clubs which we have. So a person just needs to go and attend a meeting and then get more information about Toastmasters, and then they can choose which club they want to go to, because we have so many options as per their working time, as per their residence areas. So they can choose clubs, and accordingly they can contact the VP membership or the VP PR, or if both of them are not available, then anybody else in the XCOM if they are really interested to join. So that's the basic process of how you get into Toastmasters.
You mentioned that you are responsible for starting a lot of clubs, a lot of community as well as corporate clubs. How many are there right now? Which locations?
So we have 32 clubs as of now and 4 more in pipeline. And by the end of 2017, we are looking at almost 39 clubs. So 2020, we are looking at somewhere around like 39 clubs. So currently, within Kathmandu, we have around 28 clubs in Kathmandu, along with the mixture of corporate as well as the community club, and also the education club that we have over here. So people can go to any of the community clubs that they want to go to. So one of the things that has always helped whenever I am mentoring someone and bringing them to a Toastmaster is to say that go to a club and choose a club that you fit in, rather than going to a club and fitting yourself. Because once you fit into that club culture, the learning is always the same. It always follows the pedagogy of the Toastmasters. So when you feel that comfortable among those peers of that club, then it becomes very easy for you to go again and again to that club.
Yeah, I was not going to talk to you about members joining in. I was going to ask you how members can start a club. There may be like-minded people who may not want to go to any of the clubs that are already existing, but would like to start a club of their own. Or there might be organizations who are looking towards starting a club within their organization. So what would you suggest to them? What's the process that they should follow? Because you are a club growth director. And
definitely, man. One of the things that they should follow is to make sure that they have the leadership team within themselves. So we look at 7 leaders that can start a club, so that when they have the 7 people of Sergeant-at-Arms, Treasurer, Secretary, VP PR, VP Membership, and VP Education and the President, if they can figure that out, then they can those 7 people has to bring 2 people each. So there needs to be at least 20 people to start a club. So once you have that strong team in place, those people can lead and influence the other 2 people to join. If each of them can do that, then they will have 21 members. And when they have 21 members, they can start a club. We actually need 20 members to start a club. And once you have that, you can contact the Toastmaster or the division or anyone, any Toastmasters in Nepal. After that, the club growth director will come into place and place you within an area and guide you to start a club.
You mentioned 7 rules, big words for people who don't know about Toastmasters, may not be able to understand. Maybe Neha, Toastmaster Neha, you'll be able to explain what a Sergeant at Arms does and all the other 7 rules maybe.
Practically, these 7 roles are 7 leaders, 7 champions as we call them, who are the drivers of the club. I'll begin with the Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms is that person who starts the club meeting, who looks after all the logistics, who handles everything which a club requires. That person does that. Then is the club secretary. Club secretary is that person who keeps minuting of club meetings, or like we say executive officers meeting minutes. So those are the things which the club secretary keeps in note of. The third person, like he mentioned, is the treasurer, and we all know the treasurer deals with money. So he or she will be that person who looks after all the balance of the club, payments, sending payments to Toastmaster International, how they run their club affairs will be all under the treasurer. Then comes the VPPR. VPPR is public relations. So that person is responsible for promoting the club, be it within the Toastmasters community, be it outside the Toastmasters community, through posts, through videos, whatever possible. We have so much social media through which we can promote our clubs. So that can be done by Vice President Public Relations. Vice President Membership adds members. Membership add members. So any potential people who are interested to join the club comes under the portfolio of Vice President Membership. Then is the next person. VPE is one of the very important people in a club, because that person is responsible for the education, for all the speeches, for all the roles that has been taken in the club. So they train, they help members, let me not say train, but they help members connect to the manuals, to the course which is followed in Toastmasters, that is called Pathways now, to enroll themselves into Pathways and how they can move ahead. So VPE, Vice President Education, is a guiding light for them on how they can move forward with their speeches and how they get into Toastmasters International, how they move forward and what all are the requirements. President is the most important person, because that person looks after the entire team. So let me put in this way, that President is that driving force who can motivate the remaining 6 people to do all their jobs, look after them very well, keep them motivated and drive the club. So I think that is good enough for everybody to understand.
So that's the 7 rules in
Yes.
a nutshell.
Yes.
Of course, it's not just that,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of responsibilities, and there's a lot of learning also. And I believe being in these roles really helps to lead the club also. And for new clubs that are being formed, these are the people who are really going to take the clubs forward once they are formed. Now, is there any money involved right at the beginning? How much time does it take to start a club? Would you like to share some insight into that?
So to start a club, definitely there's a money involved to do all the processes. So there is a one-time charter fee of $125 to start a new club. And then there is a $45 fee for the 6 months that they have to send, that is per person, and there is a one-time registration fee of $20 per person at the beginning. So if you're looking at a yearly cycle, then from next year you are looking at a $90 payment per member that you have to send over to the Toastmaster International. And the Toastmaster International operates in a 6-month cycle, that is in March and September, where you have to send the money.
So if I was somebody who wanted to start a club, I would want to make sure that I have $125 plus $45 for each member, 20 members into 45, plus $20 for the new members, so $20 into 45. Altogether, I need to send it. Do I need to send all this right at the beginning, or I can just send $125 at the beginning? Is it really cumulative process?
So how a Toastmaster tracks you as a club? Because Toastmasters make sure that each club gets all the needed requirement details. Is through a club number. So when you pay that $125, you have to fill up a form that is the first form that you have to fill. With that, you get a club number. And using that club number, you need to fill 5 more additional forms to make sure that each of the members are accounted for, as well as making sure all the money details and the membership details, along with the constitution of the club, is made for. And the club growth division is over there to guide you through all those processes, because it can be totally a cumbersome process when you start at the beginning. So club growth allows you to make sure that you get all those processes in place. And it's as simple as that, because once you come to a division or an area, then you are guided through that process.
So you are there to help start the club, and after that, as you were mentioning to Sasania, you are going to help the members by connecting them with the right people and suggesting what needs to be done and what is the process to grow further in the club itself. Those are really wonderful insights into the technicalities of Toastmasters. So coming back to what you're doing, you mentioned about how leadership role has really helped you, and the learnings that you have had regarding leadership role has helped you in your professional life also. How about communication? Because we keep saying Toastmasters is about public speaking. So in light of communication, now how would you say that Toastmasters helps not only you, but clubs and organizations or communities itself? How has it helped you, and how have you seen you helping others with communication?
So Toastmasters, one of the best things in Toastmasters is the mentorship. So whenever you start, you always feel that you're doing the right thing. And the mentors come in to give that a guiding light, to say that this is a different process that you can follow to do the same thing in a better way. Mm-hmm. So in Toastmasters, we always believe in doing things in a better way. Not in the best way, because there is always a better way than the best way. So when you put that thing into place, it has helped me to make sure that whatever I do, I make sure that I consult with someone to see that, is it the right way? Is there another way that I can do it in a better way? So that allows you to frame yourself to take that positive criticism, constructive criticism, to improve yourself. So it has helped me to be a better version of myself, not the best version. And one of the things that I always tell my mentees, because whenever you are starting a club, you are also talking with a lot of people, because you have become the first contact point to register that 20 members over there. And I always encourage them to have a mentors. And through mentorship, what they can do is to get a better version of themselves.
That's a wonderful insight into how Toastmasters works, not only in developing you as leaders, but also as communicators. How do you develop is through mentors. I guess for both leadership as well as communication, we do have mentors. Thank you both of you for having come to the show today and shared your insights, shared your journey as Toastmasters, and how you've become better leaders, better communicators, and how you're helping others join Toastmasters, become better communicators, leaders, and also starting new clubs. I hope that the insight that you have shared here today will help viewers who are watching this show today to not only think about how they're going to join Toastmasters, but how they are going to develop their life skill as better speakers and better leaders. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, all the viewers, for having watched us today. Yes, we had two wonderful speakers and leaders, Toastmaster Neha and Toastmaster Brijen, here today, who shared their insight as what is required to do in their positions in the Division A that they are council members of, and how you, if you want to be a member, how you can join. And if you have a group of people, 20 people, that are in the community or within an organization, how you can also start a club within your community or your organization. Thank you for having watched us, and hope to see you at Toastmasters one day. Namaste.